This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Griffin. Let's get right to the very latest on the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. Today we learned Indiana's death toll from COVID-19 is now 1,115. That's 53 more deaths confirmed since yesterday. The number of confirmed cases in our state, more than 19,000. More than 104,000 people have been tested so far in Indiana. As we begin the month of May, it will look very different this year in Indianapolis and in Speedway. Since the Indy 500 will not run until August 23rd, the Speedway Arts Council is starting a new campaign to get people to show their pride for their community. It's called It's Still May in Speedway. This weekend, families are encouraged to start getting ready for two different contests. There is a porch and yard decorating contest and a window decorating contest. On Tuesday, people can start registering through a link on the Speedway Arts Facebook page. It's $5 for each contest, and all of the money goes directly to help local families through the St. Christopher Church Food Pantry.
I thought, you know what, wouldn't it be cool if everyone took part in decorating their yards, whether it be for racing or whether it be to thank essential workers, doctors, nurses, first responders, just to be creative and show their town pride while also supporting the community in the process.
The message behind the campaign: even though racing is not happening this month, it is not the end of the world. People should still get out and celebrate their neighborhood and support the local community. As the phased-in reopening of the state begins, we are expecting to see a boom in some industries. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain how the wedding business will rebound from COVID-19 after the pandemic postpones some people's forever plans.
Last Saturday, April 25th, was supposed to be the big day, the one Renee Fleener and Brandon Duckworth have been looking forward to, finally getting the chance to say I do and tying the knot.
We've been engaged for almost a year and a half, and we've just been spending this time planning and getting everything together. We were ready, and then COVID-19 happened.
The pandemic brought their planning process to a screeching halt and derailed everything.
They started saying, well, do you think you can bump your list down to under 50? And then everything started closing. To even get the rings, the Hellsberg Diamond was closed, and the tech shop.
100, and they wanted us to reduce it down to 50, and then the number kept getting smaller and smaller. So we knew we probably just needed to go ahead and reschedule because it was kind of impossible.
Since the wedding industry is a complex one, these two say there were multiple reasons their original date just wouldn't work once restrictions went into place. Jewelry stores closing meant they couldn't get their rings. The venue started limiting guests. Then they found themselves looking for a new DJ and photographer to capture the event.
Actually decided to postpone. It was about a month out, so we only had a month left, and we had to go ahead and reschedule.
Yeah, it was a good thing we did because all the dates were getting filled up really quick too.
Yeah, we had very slim pickings on dates for sure. So September's a really popular month as it is. So they were already booked up, and then other couples were rescheduling too. So it almost put us all the way to spring 2021.
But instead of hanging their heads and dwelling on the missed original date, this couple just has a little more time to plan the wedding of their dreams. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. If you are a wedding vendor, you can head over to the IndyChannel.com where we have information that could help your business rebound from the pandemic. Businesses across the state are preparing to open back up as part of the governor's Back on Track Indiana plan. Stage 2 is set to begin this Monday, May 4th. A week after that, retail businesses can reopen at 50% capacity. Moonshot Games in Noblesville is spending the weekend moving back in their store on 9th Street downtown. Previously, they have been operating out of the owner's garage. During the pandemic, they started a website and began delivering puzzles and games. On Thursday alone, they sold 1,000 puzzles. As they prepare to reopen, the owner says customers should expect the store to look very different.
Before, we were 50 to 70 people in here at a given time, kind of table to table, shoulder to shoulder. That's not going to work under the new normal, and so we've kind of rethought the space. We've pulled all the tables out of here. We got some premium tables, and we're going to space stuff out a little bit more, and it's going to be a little bit more like a showroom than a sit and play. We are creating sit and play space. It's just going to be spaced out with all the proper precautions to ensure that people can do it safely.
With grant money from the Noblesville Small Business Resilience Grant Fund, Moonshot Games was able to bring back on 3 employees that were laid off. And now the business is picking up online and through order deliveries. They are hiring for 2 to 3 positions in store and up to 10 drivers for delivery through a third-party company. Central Indiana farmers markets are kicking off their spring season this weekend. People took advantage of today's beautiful weather and visited the Broad Ripple Farmers Market. The market, which is now held at Glendale Town Center's east parking lot, was a busy place this morning. But due to the coronavirus, social distancing precautions were in place. Only 1 to 2 people per family were asked to visit each vendor, and people were asked to not touch any of the products. Everyone was also encouraged to wear a face mask.
Well, you got a lot of room. It's easier to take that kind of distance. You know, we've all been cooped up in houses all this time. This way you get some exercise. You can walk from one end to the other. Yes, it's good for us. Good for me.
I think a lot of people are here because they want to get out of the house, and you need to eat, and it's time to plant. There's vendors that have plants and herbs, and I mean, there's just all kinds of things here.
Also different right now during the pandemic, dogs were not allowed. There were no food or drinks being consumed and no growler refills, and for now, no live entertainment. The community also made it out to support vendors at the Garfield Park Farmers Market on opening day. In order to make the shopping experience safe, there were some changes here as well. People were advised to shop alone, follow a one-way aisle, stopping only when making a purchase. They were also asked to practice social distancing, wear masks, and pay with cards and not cash. RTV6 is putting the focus on how people are working together during the pandemic. And tonight, thanks to a local church's food pantry, local families now have dinner to feed their families. Zion Hope Church on East 46th Street provided Blessings of Hope food baskets to people in the Devington community on the east side. Since access to food has been a challenge for many during the pandemic, leaders with Zion Hope are concerned about their community. The church wanted to bless those who are in need today and let them know that they are not alone.
We have a food pantry the first Saturday of each month. And so with the food pantry, we would normally pray for people and bring them in. And we said, hey, why not go ahead and do something else and just have a drive-by where people can just drive by, get what they need, and then be able to enjoy the rest of their day.
The first 100 vehicles that came to the church this morning received food. You may have saw this today. Starting in Terre Haute, the 122nd Fighter Wing conducted the Air Force Salutes flyover to salute American heroes on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. The flyover of 4 A-10 Thunderbolt II aircrafts traveled above several local hospitals in Indianapolis and ended in Marion, flying over the VA hospital. We talked to a 7-year-old who watched closely today as they flew over St. Vincent Hospital in Carmel.
Great.
You thought they were great?
Yep. And I saw the plane flying in like a backwards V formation. So it was kind of like I couldn't really see well, but with these binoculars, I could see like one goes this way and a little of it goes that way.
You think you want to be a pilot someday? Why not?
It's because I already made my decision and I want to be a paleontologist.
Oh, what a cutie. Well, the Indiana National Guard says it's proud to serve alongside first responders and essential personnel during the COVID-19 response efforts. Kyle.
A beautiful start to the weekend across central Indiana. Lots of sunshine and plenty of warmth. But now our attention is going to radar. We'll talk about when storms return. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
Only on RTV6 News.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
While polls show many Americans support stay-at-home orders, protesters have been taking to the streets calling for their states to lift stay-at-home orders. Retail stores, gyms, salons, and restaurants in several states have been allowed to reopen, but some business owners are still hesitant. Here's ABC's Zareen Shaw with the details.
As states weigh decisions on what and when to reopen, demonstrators on both sides of the argument are looking to have their voices heard. Many angry, believing their freedoms are being taken away. Others concerned about the economic impact.
To let the businesses in this state open up so we can meet our payroll, we can pay our employees benefits, and we can start doing business again.
New Jersey's governor has reopened parks, but warns residents to be smart.
But if we are reckless, we will lose not just more, but many more.
Restaurants in Texas now allowed to open, but some owners are still hesitant.
We want to open feeling safe. I don't feel safe. I don't think my staff feels safe. And I don't think the clientele feels safe.
Some retailers also getting back to business. Simon has reopened 31 of its malls across 8 states. Shoppers crowding this mall in Oklahoma, some with masks, others without. A shopper described the scene at this Nebraska outlet mall.
I feel like they are being safe. It feels like everybody's just kind of scared to be next to each other.
Department store chain Macy's says its stores will have enhanced health and safety measures. At the beauty counter, customers are no longer permitted to touch testers. There will be limited fitting rooms, and all employees will wear masks. But polls show a majority of Americans support the stay-at-home orders, as cases of the virus are still on the rise in at least 18 states. Some now protesting the reopenings. In Georgia, a mock funeral procession from demonstrators condemning the state's efforts to allow businesses to swiftly reopen. As the debate over reopening continues, New York's governor says it's important to use information to determine the next steps.
Not emotions, not politics, not what people think or feel, but what we know in terms of facts.
And Mississippi's Governor Tate Reeves now taking a step back, reviewing plans to allow some retail businesses to reopen. That's after his state saw an increase in the number of confirmed cases and deaths from the virus in the last few days. Zoreen Shaw, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A fantastic start here to the weekend in central Indiana, and warm too. Our warmest so far of 2020. We made it into the 80s, and we still sit at 81 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 80 in Greencastle, and the upper 70s for you around the Tipton area. That's where we've got a little more cloud cover. I was actually hoping to bring the weather outdoors today, at least for that weather report, but it's still a little breezy out there. Those winds about 15 to 20 miles per hour. As you go out there this evening, Samir has the rain gear ready to go. I don't think you're going to need that, though, for an evening walk. We'll have mild temperatures. We're 80 degrees at 7 o'clock, still the lower 70s as we get to 10 o'clock in the evening. All dry. Spotty shower or thunderstorm chance there as we get to around 11 o'clock tonight. Temperatures overnight will drop down into the middle and upper 50s. Most spots around 60 degrees in Columbus. So it is a warm start to our Sunday. But overnight and into Sunday morning, we do have that potential for some strong thunderstorms. I think because of the timing, we won't see a lot of those stronger storms, but still some rumbles that could wake you up early on your Sunday. That marginal risk where we could see some gusty winds as those storms move through. Here's a look at TrueCast. 10 o'clock tonight. You can see just spotty activity on the radar. As we go closer to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that's where we start to see more of those showers and thunderstorms lining up and some of those rumbles of thunder about 6 o'clock in the morning. So it will be a bit of a stormy start to the day. You notice that rain does start to sink mainly near and south of I-70. I don't think we completely get rid of the rain chances, though, as we go into the afternoon. We could see some areas, especially south of I-70, picking up around an inch or more of rainfall. So some heavy rain not out of the question for us. Temperatures, no surprise here with rain and some clouds around. It will be cooler, but seasonably so with those high temperatures in the middle to upper 60s, even around 70 degrees in Lafayette and Peru, where your rain chances will be a little bit lower. 7-day planning forecast. We've got some occasional shower chances as we go through the next week. And looking into next weekend, very cool stuff. Highs only going to be in the 50s Friday and Saturday morning. Again, Nicole, we could be talking about some areas of frost in central Indiana.
Hi, Ollie. This is advice from a Hall of Famer. How Kareem Abdul-Jabbar surprised a student at Beech Grove High School and offers hope for the class of 2020. I'm Dave First. It's our Sports Extra Spotlight coming up.
Home experts at theindychannel.com.
Without question, it's a tough time for high school seniors as they wrap up their final year away from friends. Even more difficult for teams that had championship aspirations, including Beech Grove High School, who recently received some Hall of Fame advice. Dave First with this Sports Extra Spotlight.
Allie Hockett is as disappointed as any high school senior that the school year ended like this. So Allie reached out for advice.
Hi, Allie. This is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't think you really need any advice from someone who graduated college when Neil Armstrong first stepped on the moon.
She reached out to a Hall of Famer and quickly shared it with classmate Josh Copenhaver.
So you reached out to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I reached out. I said, if you could just give me some encouraging words. And then I mentioned the basketball team. I said, they've been through a lot this year, having lost their coach.
Black fist. That boy Gav, 8 minutes on the clock.
Matt English lost a lengthy battle with cancer in December of 2018. His team was going for their first regional championship last March before the rest of the tournament was called off.
I know you're going to miss all of your friends at Beech Grove High School, especially the basketball team, which has been through so much lately, having lost their coach and having their season canceled right after winning sectionals.
I was in shock. It was really cool.
Mike Renfro was Matt English's assistant and is now the program's head coach.
I thought, and I know the kids really thought that we had a shot to win the whole thing this year. So it was a little disappointing there in the end. And probably one of the hardest things I had to do was let those kids know that we weren't going to the regional.
But Kareem wasn't done after learning about the program's slogan.
I love your team motto, though. We before me, because it's a lesson we can all live with.
When you get a response from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that's pretty cool, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think my heart stopped for a minute and I just kind of started shaking.
At first, when Alex sent me the video, I thought it was like a joke. Because I was like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is like one of the all-time NBA greats. Like, why would he mention Beech Grove High School and the basketball team?
But clearly there's more than basketball being taught at Beech Grove High School. Matt's legacy was the lunch pail and hard hat he urged players to bring. Those same items were center stage when the team went on to win back-to-back sectional championships.
What do you think Matt would say about how this program has reacted over the last couple of seasons?
More than anything, I think he'd be proud. But I think he'd be really proud of the boys because they've worked very, very hard to get to where we are today.
It's a feeling these days felt school-wide.
Basketball is more than it's more than just basketball. Like, they implement life lessons in everything that we do.
We have been through things that no other class can really say that they've been through.
Best wishes in your college career, Allie. Take care now. Good luck.
And now a class with Hall of Fame status. Day first, RTV6 Sports.
At theindychannel.com/rebound.
Sold out in hours. A historic theater built in 1922 is trying to stay afloat until stay-at-home orders are relaxed. Our Rafael Sanchez found out people by the hundreds were ready to drive by to pick up their buckets of popcorn. Here are the sights and sounds and their words from Franklin in Johnson County.
We just want to be able to put some smiles on people's faces because it's been dark since March 17th. By having this popcorn drive that we can light up the theater, we can get people excited about when we get ready to come back.
Just pull them on up, Alicia.
One butter and one plain.
Okay.
One butter and one.
The Art Craft Theater is a heart in this town that's been around for generations and generations. And for me personally, coming here as a child, I'll remember the Art Craft forever. I bring my kids here, I donate here, my dad gives here. It's just really family and love and life.
The world has changed, and we have to adapt around it. We realize we probably are not going to have a sold-out show for maybe the Christmas movies. We have to find out what our patrons want to see, what they're comfortable with, and we'll do everything we can, with the distancing and all of that kind of stuff to make sure that everybody is comfortable, is safe. This is just such a warm blessing to all of the people who have been coming here.
Here we go. You're welcome. Have a great day.
And thank you for coming out and sharing some time with us at the Historic Art Craft Theater.
Well, each bucket costs $7, and the theater hopes to hold another popcorn event next weekend. Kyle.
We've got that chance for some showers, a few thunderstorms as we go into our Sunday morning. Temperatures still going to make their way into the 60s. Occasional rain chances going into next week, and cooler by next weekend. Highs only going to be in the 50s.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tonight at 11. Have a great night.